Welcome to Broken Tusk Rising, a Pathfinder 2nd Edition actual play in the Galarian campaign setting. We're playing through the Quest for the Frozen Flame adventure path.
I'm Jessica, and I'm playing Zancath, the Halfling Fighter.
This is Josh, and I'm playing Corgo, the Human Barbarian.
I'm Ashley, and I play Aklep the Druid, a former member of the Burning Mammoth.
Last time on Broken Tusk Rising, the scouts cured a large beaver of zombie rot and recruited the whole group of beavers to the following. They then explored the chamber with a pool of water and found a tunnel leading upward. Zancath followed it into a small room with 3 local Sutaki in it, and they were delighted to see her. The leader, Aokoe, asked the scouts to accept several of them into the following for protection, including the infant Dini, who may become a god caller someday. They're still not entirely clear on what a god caller is. Aokoe also filled in the party on Ashen Swale, the necromancer god caller, and the dragon that he worships, Venexus, and also informed them of a village far to the east called Lyuba. Now they must decide if they're done with the Calamity Caves and ready to lead the following through. So what do you want to do? You're standing now at the mouth of the Calamity Caves.
I want to go back and talk to the leaders. This doesn't feel like a decision we're allowed to make.
All right, so let's say that you are back at the camp. Obviously, we can't really role-play out what Andreas and Jonesy think, but I guess the question is, what are you asking them about? What is it that you're trying to run by them? What is it you want to know?
My thought is that it makes more sense for the following to stay on the other side of the cave while we try to figure out what's going on in the valley so that we're not having to constantly provide tribute to this dragon. So I would explain that the cave, we think the cave's clear except for this one part, which we'll mark off, and we can move through, but also we're then going to have to start giving tributes to this dragon if the following's through.
They say that the dragon's going to keep you in the valley. You're not going to be able to leave the valley. So you're then trapped. You just become worshippers of the dragon. You don't get to move through. That's the way I was understanding it.
Yeah.
So we have to find a way to, similar to how we found a way for the following to get through the cave, we need to find a way for them to safely sneak through the valley, a very large herd.
Okay, so here is the concern of the leadership of the following. They don't have enough foraging capability in the place where they're currently hiding, in the mountains. They need to get through to the valley just so they can send groups out for food. Now, what they could do is hide in the caves, right? Now that you've cleared them out, they could keep most of the following in the cave or near the cave, and in that way hide from the dragon or whatever other threats are out there.
Sounds good to me. We cleared them out pretty good. We just can't go in the Lagerfer zone.
And the tunnel that might collapse, we can point those out and provide instruction on where not to go. As long as those areas are avoided, it should be fine.
If they want to, they can try to secure the tunnel. We didn't have time to do that, but they were capable of doing it. So that could give them some more space as well.
Yeah. So if they're fine, if they're fine with the areas that need to be avoided, then I'm fine with them moving into the cave and working from there. But I don't think moving into the valley makes sense.
I would like one of you to make a survival check.
Who's best at that?
I've got +8.
I got +10.
Whoa, can I help?
Yes, please, because my rolls are not necessarily good rolls.
I don't know, it just depends on what the check is, if I can even help, or is this something in her brain?
This is something in Aklep's brain, if Aklep's making the check. So I think maybe Aklep, make the check by yourself.
I can't help you with that.
Aklep rolled a 14.
Yeah, everything seems fine.
Okay.
That's scary.
Can all of us roll?
Nope.
We just won one.
I want you to pick one person to roll.
All right.
Okay.
We also need to tell them not to go to the demon tree room.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, avoid that room as well.
Okay, so you're going to mark some places off. So the list of places that you're marking off not to go are the Lagerfer room,
Yep.
the Demon Tree room,
Yep.
Where else?
The collapsing...
The scree.
The scree and
scree,
the collapsing,
yep, the collapsing tunnel.
Though we'll say you can, if you have the time, you can shore up the tunnel and it should be fine.
Okay.
But we didn't have the time.
Also, maybe avoid the bison skull room. Just the back part.
Yeah, that too.
Okay.
We don't know that they'll come to life again, but they might.
Anything else?
I don't know. I think that's
Freezing
everything
cold
that's
water?
bad.
Cold water.
Freezing cold water? Okay.
We should
All right.
warn that. We should. There's also that halfling in their little room with their trap.
I think she
They
left.
left.
Yep.
She left. Okay.
We took care of the demon, the skin-wearing creature. There's nothing over there. We took care of the moss, so that's fine.
The bats are kind of a problem.
Bats are kind of a problem, but if there's a whole bunch of people hanging out in there, they may not come back. Like, they just would leave and possibly come back.
All right, we'll just they're capable of like figuring stuff out. They'll be all right.
And the room with where the people were, that they disabled their traps, right?
Correct.
Okay, so that room's fine.
It seems like the best place for them to hang out is probably the wolf area.
The wolf area and like the main tunnel, I think, is probably best places for them to be.
Does the Broken Tusk have a herd of elk even to give? Is that
No.
even an option?
No.
Okay.
I mean, could we give? I assume we could give a couple of mammoths and probably be okay, but
Yeah.
that sounds like a bad idea.
I don't think anybody would be cool with that.
Nope.
All right. So you lead the following up to the entrance to the cave, and you explain to the leaders and to some of the others who are going to be guiding everyone through the cave the list of places that they should avoid.
And do chalk marks to
Indicate which places are safe and which ones aren't.
not to
Yep.
go. Yeah.
Right. All right. Last chance. Anything else you want to notify me about before we lead them through?
Boring stuff, administrative stuff.
Uh-huh.
What about all the stuff that's worth gold pieces that we found? Should we split that up into our
I mean,
character sheets, or what should we do with that stuff?
I mean, technically, can we just make them gold, or
I don't know.
If you want to say you can liquidate them with the following, that's okay with me.
That's just easier.
Yeah. Okay. In that
So what did we
case,
get total? I think we got a diamond.
we've got 5 silver pieces from the dragon claw. We've got an uncut diamond for 20. Josh, you keeping track of this? Because I'm
A little
just going,
bit, yeah.
Okay. That pendant, which is probably worth something, but I don't know how much. We've got the vial, but that's something to keep. Yeah, I think
We
it's
had
just
the
the.
semi-precious stones worth 30, and some incense worth 5.
I figured somebody would want the incense, but sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, semi-precious stones, which I've marked off for some reason. I'm not sure why I did that. The pendant with an opal. Nope, pendant is the mesmerizing opal. I have that.
Yep.
Yeah, so 30 gold pieces of semi-precious stones. 20 gold pieces for the uncut diamond. 5 for the stick of incense. And 5 silver for the dragon claw. How's that breakdown for the 3 of us, Josh?
18 and a half.
Half of what?
Gold.
So like 18 gold and 5
5
silver.
silver.
Okay. So you've divvied up the treasure, or the value of the treasure.
Are the bats back? Do we need to clear out the bats first?
Bats are still there. Gorgo said
Yeah.
that you just let the following deal with it. They're smart and they'll figure it out.
But they can't be completely helpless, you guys. I mean, they got to make grown-up decisions without us sometimes.
I think we got to smoke out the bats, and then maybe the bats will not come back because of all the people and activity.
I mean, it's fairly late in the day at this point. Would the... or are we waiting till the next day to bring them in?
That's up to you. If you want to do it that day, it is getting kind of late, but the bats are still there at the moment.
Yeah, we'll smoke out the... It's not hard. We'll smoke out the bats.
Okay. You want to smoke out the bats again. Somebody make a nature check. See how good a job you do.
I think Aklep will do that.
Okay.
I want to help.
Yeah, Gorgo could help with this one.
Gorgo can help with this.
Help,
He wants
please.
to help. Please let me help you. That's a 21 to help. So
All
I
right,
think
it's a plus one.
Excellent. That is a 24
Nice.
for a total of 25.
All right. So you successfully get a bunch of grass and start a fire after you delicately walk into the cave to try not to upset any of these bats, and the bats eventually get sick of it and leave. All right, anything else you want to do?
No.
No.
Nah.
So you begin leading the following in, and everything's going very smoothly. We're leading the way with some of the scouts in training who've been back at the camp, getting some of their basic skills honed, and you lead them through, they follow you, and then the Mammoth Lords start coming through. And that's when you remember that you left one of these stalactites in place in case you needed to set it off as a trap.
Are you sure? I think we took that down.
So this thing that happened to us months ago, we're about to be punished for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did give you some chances to see if you noticed that. I guess what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you all another perception check to see if you notice that thing is still there.
Yeah, because we were
and
burning.
if you pull it down in time.
We smoked out the bats. Can we get a perception check while we were looking at the bats?
I'm going to give you a perception check as you're starting to lead them in to see if you notice that this is a problem, and maybe you can stop them in time.
We can't have had one while we were dealing with the bats looking at the ceiling?
No, I'm going to say it now. We're going to do it now. It's more exciting.
No, I meant for that to be hidden from me, but I did it wrong, so okay.
That's okay.
We would know we know what's going on.
Yeah. Aklep, you want to make one?
Yeah, sure. We'll try. I'm not good at stuff, but we'll try.
So all three of you, as you're starting to lead them through, suddenly say, "Whoa, stop!" and call everyone to a halt as you remember that there's still one stalactite that you've left hanging on the ceiling. And you take a moment to knock it down before it kills anybody. And then you resume leading the following through as this grand procession makes its way around the caves. You walk in through the entrance. I'm going to assume that the snow is not really much of an impediment for everyone. You follow around the path to where the Smilodons were killed by the demon creature. You follow around to the south past where the cold mold creature was. Past the scree, which you have marked off, don't go that way. And now past the trapped area, formerly trapped area, where the Sutaki, where it had the cliffside camp. Past the demon tree room, where you again have marked it off, don't go that way. Past the access to the bridge, past the cold stream, again you've marked that off. Past the dangerous passage that might collapse, you've marked that off. Into the room where the wolves were, I guess I should probably get rid of them, they're not there anymore. And you reach, once again, the opening of the cave to the valley. And that means we get to switch maps.
Whoa!
Yeah, we're done with this map. Map is done with us.
You have successfully led the following out of the Calamity Caves. And you have leveled up to level 5.
What?
Oh
Awesome. How do you level up?
How does one level up?
Well, it takes a few days to figure out, but we'll do that off mic.
Sure.
More importantly, we are now back to hexploration.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's a little bit less rigorous than before, though, because you're not leading the way for the following now. So you reach access to this valley, you exit the caves, and as you stand there, Letsua comes to stand with you. And he says, "This is a sight we desperately needed to see, a place of plenty and promise." He pauses, looking back to scan the faces of the other following members. "You've brought smiles to faces, satisfaction to hungry bellies, and hope to hearts. It's more than we asked of you, but our work isn't done. There's no one I trust more to chart our course than you. It will be weeks before the burning mammoths can pursue us. You've bought us time to resupply and recuperate, but this valley is surely dangerous. We can't rush in blindly, and we will need to continue our journey east come autumn. For now, the Broken Tusk following will remain in these caves, hidden from Venexus and this ashen swale. While our people rest, I ask that you survey our surroundings. I'm certain you'll find allies and enemies in this valley. I trust you to determine which are which." Letsua smiles broadly at you. "Report back when you can. If you find a safer place deeper in the valley, show us the path. We must put more space between Evarsa and our people. Can we count on you?
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was not the most reassuring pause, but I thank you for your dedication and I wish you luck.
Man, I was just...
I think we were trying to be polite and not speak over one another, but I do understand your point.
Of course. So, for the foreseeable future, you will be moving through Lost Mammoth Valley. We're going to use hexploration, but now your goal is not to move through the valley as fast as possible, but instead to explore it. And you should be alert for opportunities to grow and move the following, to forge alliances, and perhaps even reclaim the primordial flame.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
You are now facing this valley. Okay, so everyone's leveled up. Corgo, anything exciting you want to share?
Yeah, level 5 is awesome. Level 5, there was so much going on. So Corgo's hit points are now 78. His armor class increased by 1. He gained brutality, so that's basically making it so that he's an expert in using weapons and also biting and clawing things.
Cool.
The attribute bonuses were very cool. So all of us could select 4 attributes to increase by 1. Unless you're at a +4, that goes progress starts to get a little bit slower once you hit 4. So Corgo increased his dexterity, constitution, intelligence, and wisdom. So Corgo has to stop being so dumb now. And maybe that's not as fun. Or maybe he'll play dumb. He also picked up general training. So he's now skilled in... he's now... What is it called?
Trained. He's now trained in performance. And because his intelligence went up, he gets another skill to go up in, so he's now trained in acrobatics too, so he can be a bit less goofy. Wow.
What else? That was a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot of good stuff. That was it.
Zancath?
Zancath is up to 61 HP, 22 armor class. I got a boost in strength, which put me at 0, so that's fun. No longer a penalty there.
Okay, good.
Constitution, intelligence, and charisma. Let's see, what else? I got 2 new feats. I got innocuous, which, like, if I do a deception check, they don't know that I did a deception check on them, basically. And
that's cool.
Secret deception. Okay, that's cool.
Like even if you fail, right?
Yeah.
Or no?
Yeah. Even if you fail, they don't realize that you were deceiving them.
You're there like, oh, she's just being dumb.
I think that's what it was. If you fail a deception check to create a diversion, humanoid creatures aren't aware that you are trying to trick them unless you get a critical failure on your roll. So I don't know that it's super helpful, but it seems fun. I do a lot of deception checks, so
yeah.
And I got treat condition. So I can, it's like battle medicine, but it's for clumsy, enfeebled, or sickened conditions. I can help get rid of those conditions if I roll well. I upped my deception to expert. I also have weapon specialization now. I think that's...
Oh.
No, sorry. Weapon tricks. I have weapon tricks now. And so basically because it's a short sword, because it varies depending on what kind of weapon you're using. And I'm pretty sure a short sword, it's just they're off guard until the end of my next turn if I get a critical. So that's fun. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Oh, and my sneak attack went up to 2d6. That's nice.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow, some serious damage. Now, Aklep, you had more to do to get leveled up than everybody else.
Yes.
Are you ready to talk about it yet?
I think so. I'm picking one other thing. I need to get trained in a skill, and I'm trying to figure out a good one for Aklep, which is rough because, he's just not much of a society man.
Sure.
For sure.
It doesn't seem to be.
Yeah. So you're going with medicine, you think, then?
Well, yeah. So I picked natural skill, which lets me get trained in 2 skills.
Ah, right.
So I took my regular increase to go up in intimidation as an expert, and then took the natural skill to get trained in medicine. And then I think I'll get trained in, I don't know, occultism? Yeah, and medicine.
Okay.
Those seem good.
Awesome. All right.
Okay.
So you've increased your skill and intimidation from trained to expert. You've moved medicine from untrained to trained, occultism from untrained to trained. So there's some skill improvement. You're very good at intimidation and shockingly good at medicine considering you were untrained at it before.
Yeah, I've been really watching Zancap and learning.
Right. All right. What else is going on?
I got reflex expertise.
Okay.
As a class feature, which means I've developed a knack for dodging danger, and my proficiency rank for reflex saves increases to expert.
All right. So better reflex saving throws. Okay. And you've got some new spells.
Yes, I do have access to third rank spells.
Whoa.
They're pretty cool. Some of them are really weird. Like the Pathfinder spell book is, at least for druids, I haven't read the other ones, fascinating. So I picked some, I would say, normaler stuff. Fireball, because it's incredibly in character.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And Lotus Walk.
Ooh.
Because it would have recently come in handy.
Oh, okay. Cool.
But of course, I have access to all the spells, so
Yeah.
it's great.
Okay. Any other cool abilities anyone wants to talk about?
I got a big increase in my hit points.
Oh, yeah.
It was like 48 to 63.
Nice.
And then the same attribute increases.
Okay.
I did not go up in charisma. I just feel like Aklep should stay where he is.
That makes sense. All right. Well, we are back to the group then. The mountains slope down toward rolling hills. A valley extends into the distance to the east, full of life. And now you must decide where to explore next. So that means we're back to the hexploration rules. Every day, you have to decide what you're going to do. The number of travel activities per day depends on the movement speed of your slowest character. You all move at 25 feet per stride action, and that means you get one travel activity per day. By the way, can you all see the map?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, good. So there are two basic group activities that you can do when traveling. The first is to travel, which means you move into an adjacent hex. You can move through one hex of open terrain per day, so like grassland or fields. But difficult terrain, such as hills or a swamp, might require 2 or even more travel activities. The second action you can take when traveling is reconnoiter, which means you explore a hex and find any interesting sights or features. You automatically find some features, and others require a perception check. It takes just as many travel activities to explore a hex, or reconnoiter a hex, as it does to travel through it. You can also take individual activities. So, for example, maybe 2 of you go reconnoiter the hex, and maybe 2 of you are going to do something else. You could fortify a camp, and that means you get a bonus to initiative if someone attacks the camp, and you get a bonus to perception checks to see creatures trying to sneak past it or into it. You can also map the area after you reconnoitered a hex, which prevents you from getting lost in the future if you map carefully. If you're doing those individual activities, you can't contribute to group activities. So right now, you're in the hex that contains the caves. The current hex that you're in contains the caves. There's a river passing nearby. So the question is, do you want to start by reconnoitering this hex? It seems like a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So as you explore the area, some things that you find a way marker. It stands 300 feet from the exit of Calamity Caves on the south bank of a nearby river. The river is fast-flowing, 20 feet wide, 4 feet deep, and it originates somewhere in the mountains to the west and exits this hex to the southeast. The waymarker has one of those white handprints on it, and it points southeast along the river's course. It has a stone disc on it that depicts a 3-star constellation, a magic spear called Ohoto. Would everyone please roll a secret perception check so that I can see that you can't?
Ooh, I did, I think.
You did. Good job.
Well, was it a good job?
Yes. you all spot, as you're exploring this area, you spot a small mound. And as you get closer, it looks like this is a cairn, a pile of rocks on top of a grave. And there's a longsword with a religious symbol on it, tied around the crossbar, just standing, stabbed into the grave. And there's a stone on top of this cairn. Now, do you want to approach?
Can I do a religion check on it?
Sure. Give me a religion check.
Let's see. How good we do. We didn't up this one. So I rolled an 18.
Yeah, so you look a little closer, you make a religion check. This longsword has an Iomedean religious symbol on it. So this longsword belonged to someone, or was put here by someone who worshipped Iomade.
Who's Iomade?
Iomade? Josh, you would probably be able to explain this better than I can.
Yeah, so I have no idea. No.
I mean, if you want, I'll read the entry, but...
Probably the entry's better than what I would say.
Okay.
She's like a good paladin god, basically.
Iomade is the goddess of righteous valor, justice, and honor. Having served as Eridan's herald when Eridan was alive, she inherited many of the last Zlanti's followers upon his death, and continues to espouse the ideas of honor and righteousness in the defense of good in the battle against evil. So, paladin god is a good description.
Yeah.
There is a stone atop the cairn that has an inscription in common, and your perception checks were really good. I'm just going to roll those over. You also notice that there is a path around the cairn that indicates the grave has been well tended, and the path leads away to the northeast.
What does this inscription say?
It says, Elon Erridge, corporal, brother, son, friend. Though his cloak turns white, his blade never dulls. By the inheritor's grace, he is saved.
It's really cool.
Interesting.
That name, Elon Erridge, that's E-L-A-N, and the last name, E-R-I-D-G-E.
So, I guess this is where that person's buried.
Yeah.
Would it be in poor taste to take this sword?
Yeah. Yes, I believe so. Especially because it appears that somebody comes here regularly. So.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Do we want to go meet this person?
I think that it makes sense for us to find out who is in the area. Perhaps they could provide some information about what's going on around here that we have not so far learned.
Okay, good idea. Let's go.
All right, one other piece of information. This longsword, since you made a religion check, Aklep, this longsword is a +1 low-grade cold iron longsword.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
You also think that it would be probably offensive to someone if you took it.
Yeah, and Aklep doesn't use swords.
Yeah.
That's most importantly.
I think a longsword was... Zancath using a longsword would look ridiculous.
Use it as a great sword, two-handed.
Aww. Adorable.
All right, so you want to head following the trail?
Yeah.
Yes.
Find whoever's coming here regularly.
Okay. So that is your first day reconnoitering the area. So you're going to try to follow the trail. I want someone to make a survival check to track it.
Who's good at that? Is it me
I
again?
think it's you again.
I think you're the best one, but I'll help you.
I've got a 9.
I am trained with a +11.
Yeah, I've only got a +9.
Wow, nice. I got +9.
Is this something you can help with?
Yeah, you could help.
I feel like I could.
Why not?
Yeah, you get a +1.
Coral, your helping is excellent. Like all the time.
Exactly. I appreciate that. I like helping you.
All right. Well, with my +1 from Corgo's assistance, it's an 18.
All right, so you start following this track for a while, but it kind of fades out and you lose it. You're not sure, maybe the trail washed away in a recent storm or something, but you actually lose the trail. You know it was heading to the northeast, but you aren't able to keep following it.
Oh, that's so sad.
Now the question is, you spent this day reconnoitering. That day passes. It's the next day. What do you want to do with this day? Do you want to move into a different hex? If so, which one?
I mean, we could continue to move northeast and see if we can pick up the trail. Like, we don't have a strong, like, there's the way marker is the only thing that would point us southeast. So we could try going northeast and see what's up there.
Yeah, let's do it.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, we go northeast.
Okay, so you use a travel activity to travel northeast. Question is, can I make that work? Yes, I can. All right, and now I had to figure out how do I remove the stuff on this tile.
All these hexes are so foggy. I mean, there's no way the dragon would see the following. We just go right through here.
A lot of fog of
Maybe
war.
the
Right.
dragon can see through it.
Oh man, thanks. That's a really good point. I
don't think we can risk it.
That's fine. Let's just go fight it.
That's a big leap.
I don't know that today is the day to do that. Corgo, we should probably wait on that, but just keep that in mind.
Why would we wait? I mean, we're strong right now.
I imagine that dragons are in fact stronger.
Yeah, probably.
All right, so it actually takes, because you're in the hills, it actually takes 2 days to move into that hex. So you spend 2 days traveling into that hex, and if you want to try to recover that trail or find anything interesting here, you'll need to spend 2 days reconnoitering. Do you want to do that, or do you want to move on to another hex?
Well, let's reconnoiter this whole map.
Wow. All right.
Yes.
Might take a while. I will say that the nice thing about this map, unlike the first book, is there's tons of interesting stuff on this map.
See, there you go. We gotta do it.
So it's not like the first one. It's like, it's another hex. It's another hex.
Right.
It's another hex. All right, so go ahead and give me a survival check again.
Just one or a
Okay.
bunch of them?
It depends. If more than one of you is trying to do this, then more than one of you could try to find this trail again. Or if you want to help, you can do that. Or if you want to just do a general perception check for interesting things, you can make a perception check.
Yeah, I would like to just do a general perception check to find cool stuff.
Okay, so go ahead and make some blind checks.
Josh, was yours?
Mine was perception.
Okay, I did perception.
Okay, so 2 of you did perception, and Aklep's also doing perception. Okay, you aren't able to find the trail again easily. However, after you begin exploring this hex the first day, you eventually find a trail. You're not sure if it's the same trail. It might be. And this trail leads up to a mountain ridge, a rocky mountain ridge. And on this ridge, you see a hunter's blind. It's a small wooden shelter camouflaged with net, leaves, stone, and dirt. And it has 4 arrow slits in it.
Aklep holds up his shield.
As you look at it, all of you realize that whoever built this blind, based on its size, must be a small creature. And if you wanted to determine anything else about it or ask anything else about it, let me know. And I'll let you know if you need to make any follow-up checks.
Can I sneak up to the blind?
Sure.
Sure you want to sneak? You want to just, yell out that we're here?
Yeah, no, I want to sneak up to the...
Okay, make a stealth check.
Be careful, thanks. Don't get shot at.
I snuck. I don't know how well I did.
Okay, so Zancath, you sneak up to it. Nothing happens. You don't hear anything from inside. You get closer. You take a closer look at it. In fact, make a society check as you're getting closer.
Okay. 25.
Yeah, you immediately realize that although this is constructed with local materials, whoever built this is not a native of this region. It was built using methods that the locals probably wouldn't use. So this person has basically built some columns out of stone and then filled in between the columns with wood and other materials. And that's just not the way that people around here are likely to build stuff. That looks like something you would see in a place to the south or to the east.
Okay. Is there anybody inside of it?
You sneak up to it, and you pull aside the sheet covering the entrance, and no, there's no one inside. But you do see a specialist snare kit and some snare crafting components.
I will wave the others forward.
And it is halfling-sized. They can't fit in easily.
Okay. I will pass the materials out to them.
Okay.
Because we're totally gonna take him. Do I see any evidence that this might have been the person whose name I can't remember now?
Elion?
Which person?
The one we met in the caves. Var.
Ver.
There.
This could be Ver's. Ver is a halfling and would fit in here.
Yeah, but no evidence of that. Okay.
Right. Nothing here says this is the property of a former crusader or anything like that.
Okay. I pass the snare kits to you guys. I'm not good at snares, so.
Okay. The snare crafting components are worth 10 gold pieces if you needed to know that information for making a snare with them.
Yeah, I mean, other than that one time we learned to make snares, I don't kind of lost interest because it's like, we're usually the ones approaching things. We're not usually setting up traps for stuff, so.
It's true. We could take it back to the next time we're at the following, we could give it to them and they could use it.
Yeah.
I think that
good
would
idea.
make more sense.
All right. So you continue exploring the area. You move a bit down the mountainside. There's a forested area further down to the east. And as you're moving through, all of you spot a wooden hut hidden in the trees. And outside is a fire pit. And smoking above this fire pit is a half-butchered ram.
I would think we go and meet the locals. Do you all agree?
Yeah, we like locals.
Probably return their kit.
Yeah, we did take their stuff, maybe.
Possibly. We'll see how it goes and maybe return it if necessary. But for now, go and see who it is. Approach openly. Assume they're not terrible people.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
So you walk down the hillside carefully toward the hut.
Yes.
You approach the campfire. You don't see anyone around. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna call out. Yeah, I'm gonna do this openly and not sneaky like. Greetings. Is anybody home?
And as you call out, you wait a moment, and then a voice calls from the bushes nearby. You again? What do you want? And we'll find out what Vera thinks of you taking her snare crafting components next time.
Thanks for listening to Broken Tusk Rising. You can help the podcast by giving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast or Spotify, by following us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at The House of Bob, or by chatting with us on Discord. And most of all, by supporting us on Patreon. That's at patreon.com/thehouseofbob. This show is possible due to all our patrons, who get one-shots, commentary, and other cool stuff. Art for this campaign is by Sean Makes, and art for social media, audio production, and music are by Mike. Thanks again for listening, and roll on.
Oh, was I dragging? I was dragging the beaver the whole time.
And Aokoe.
Oops. And Aokoe. Yeah, Aokoe is not even with you at all.
Hey, they're all part of the following. This token is really offensive.
Yeah.
There's no Grifka.
Yeah.
There is no Aklep.
That's true. Yeah, I haven't gotten around to that yet.
It hasn't been updated yet. That's, yeah. Mm-hmm.